Matt, can you hear us?
There we go. Now I'm unmuted. I got you.
Good deal. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
All right, we're going to roll straight into questions. So we're going to take our first question from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for your time today. Curious, how does your game plan kind of change for the next 2 races after Darlington?
Man, it's just we have to really perform at our very best for the next 2 races. We put ourselves behind the 8 ball at Darlington, had a big struggle of a race, and it didn't show it. We finally got our car actually driving okay at the end of that thing. It could have salvaged a decent finish, okay day, and a poorly timed caution, really hurt us there points wise. So that just put us behind, but luckily we've got 2 short tracks coming up. So we're just going to have to perform at our very best, hope that we can, stay up front really all day long.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Alex with the Charlotte Observer. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Matt, thanks for your time. I'm wondering kind of, you switching to a new team and working with a new crew chief this year, how much do you feel like that has either hurt you, or how important is it to sort of have a long-standing relationship with your crew chief in this era where maybe you can't meet as much with your team in person?
Yeah, I think that we've had a lot to work on together this year to get better, things like that, and being a new group working together, and with the variables that 2020 have thrown in the mix, that definitely hasn't made it easier. So we've got to work really hard on our communication to maximize what we have. I'd say it's tough not having practice in your normal weekend routine and things like that. So but no, we've grown as a team and just had to work through those types of things, but it is does make it pretty difficult.
Appreciate that. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Sterling with KCOU. Go ahead, Sterling.
Thank you. Matt, a couple of questions. First of all, in preparation for this weekend at Richmond, how's the team feeling on preparation for the car, considering that under normal circumstances, you guys would have 1 race to base it off of?
This is one that I'm kind of anxious to get to and interested to see how it goes, because we're in the playoffs, and this is the first time that we're running at Richmond, when otherwise, like you said, we would normally have had a race under our belt, and that would allow you to know, like, okay, we even without practice, we know we need to roughly be here because we learned this setup wise at the first race, but you don't have that. So I think it's interesting. I actually talked with my crew chief, my engineer, to kind of see what the strategy is and how they come up with their starting setup. And man, it makes my head hurt, all the information that they look through to try and get what they think is going to be a close starting setup for the race. They take 2019 stuff is so different because we run the high downforce there and the tire was different. So really take a whole bunch of different equations and aero stuff and all that and try and take a close guess. So to answer your question, they do a good job taking every single bit of information that we have to kind of jumble it all up and put it in simulation and help it spits out close setup. But man, there's just a lot of variables. So nobody's really going to hit it perfect right off the truck. So we'll have to see how it goes, and you'll have to really be really good on pit stops, your adjustments, and your communication with the team. And and also we haven't run this tire before at Richmond, so that's a big change. And this tire's been really good. This has been my favorite tire that we've ran on of the year because it has a lot more wear and a lot more fall off. So Goodyear did a good job with this one. So hopefully it makes for a good race.
And Wood Brothers has expressed that they're really satisfied with you being their driver. They're really happy with the performance you've put on this year. Have there been any discussions on what next year's plans for you are going to be?
Not yet. Not much. But we've, I'm glad we made the playoffs. We want a lot more than that for sure. I think we have a long ways to go. We still have a lot more potential. Our goal is to be up there contending and winning, contending for wins or up front weekly. We have still things to clean up and work on, but we're growing together as a team. And when I came to the team, everyone involved expressed that they wanted this to be a long-term relationship that we build for a long time to come. And my contract was a multi-year opportunity. Obviously those options have to be picked up each year by the team side. So, we haven't really talked about it much. Hopefully, I want to stick around here and call this home for a long time to come. So hopefully, find out here soon.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Woody Kane. Go ahead, Woody.
Hey, Matt. Wanted to follow up with something you mentioned about the tires earlier. Typically, we think of tracks like Atlanta and Darlington being the ones that are really abrasive on tires, but more and more guys are putting Richmond in that category. Can you describe how severe the fall off is at Richmond and how it kind of ranks in terms of the way it eats tires?
Yeah, Richmond's a big one. This fall off is huge. I think with this tire this weekend, being my favorite tire we've ran on, I think you're going to see a drastic amount of fall off. I'd be curious to see. I think fans will enjoy watching that. And the tire makes a big difference in how the race plays out more than anything at Richmond. So Richmond's, man, up at the top of the list. People may not know that, but it's way up there. If you have a guy, and I'm predicting with this tire, it's going to be more drastic than ever. But if you have a guy that comes in and bolts on a set of tires, and everyone else is out on old tires, they'll be driving by everybody like they're in reverse. It's that big of a difference and that much fall off. So I'm really anxious to see how this tire races, and I'm really appreciative of Goodyear and NASCAR that they went to work on this tire to really actually have some wear and lay down rubber and to wear out, because man, it makes for so much better stock car racing, especially at places like Richmond.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Marty with ROC Sports. Go ahead, Marty.
Thanks, Amanda. Matt, hope you're doing well, man. I'm kind of curious. What's your take on Auto Club Speedway reconfiguring to a short track come 22?
That's a good question. Auto Club's been a cool place for a bigger track. I prefer short tracks are my favorite thing to do by far. Short track racing is the best, and road courses are awesome. But for a bigger racetrack, I don't typically prefer them. I wish we could run almost all short tracks and road courses. Auto Club's been a great racetrack, but the fact that they're doing that, I'm in full support of it. Not that the 2 mile track wasn't cool, because it has a lot of character, and it is one of the better big tracks that we go to by far. But still, the fact that it's going to be turned into a half mile high bank short track looks like kind of a hybrid of Martinsville and Bristol. That's pretty cool. I can't really argue with that. And the more and more and more and more short tracks that we can implement in the future, the better. It just produces. There's just nothing like stock cars putting on a heck of a show at short tracks. So to answer your question, I'm 100% for it, but also in that same statement, I would say that, Auto Club Speedway, the 2 mile track, is a very unique place that's also been cool. But short track racing is the best, and I hope to see the schedule filled with a whole bunch more in the years to come.
Good to hear. Thanks for your time, Matt. Good luck to you this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Cole Casinamoni. Cole, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Matt. So you kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but kind of building off that, how confident are you with your notes for this new low downforce package and tire combination for the flat short tracks? And how much of this race can you apply to Phoenix later in the year, given the same pairing?
The good thing is every time we've run on this tire at all the short tracks, Phoenix, Martinsville, Loudon, we've been really fast. So those have been some of our best cars. We didn't execute real well at Phoenix, but we did have an incredibly fast car. So I think, tires a big common ground there so that we can, take those notes. It's really, it's nice. We've raced Phoenix before. So going back there, we'll feel good about where we know we need to start, things like that. Richmond, we just don't really know where we need to start. So more so we're taking the data off of some of those other tracks and how this tire reacted and things like that to try and hopefully come up with a close and good starting point. So we're factoring that stuff in, and as well as 2018 notes that our team has, because that's more similar to, the low downforce then. And then they factor in also the changes of how this low downforce is and our Mustang bodies and you name it. There's so many equations that make my head hurt. But no, I'm glad that we've ran really well in this tire, and it's been my favorite. And short tracks seem to be our strength as a team. So I feel confident that they'll take all the resources they have to kind of compile a close starting setup and, show our strength as a team on the short tracks, which have been our best.
Thanks, Matt. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our final question from Ashley with Popular Speed. Go ahead, Ashley.
With how strong you've ran on the short tracks and the confidence level that you have with them, how do you feel about your chances in advancing to the second round of the playoffs with how your playoffs started off at Darlington?
Yeah, Darlington was really rough on us, and the fact that we were going to recover and get a decent finish, or at least okay finish, and then the caution killed us. And it made it harder. So how I feel about our chances, I would say I'm still pretty optimistic, because I know these next two racetracks, while Darlington was a weak one for us, these next two I feel really good about. So I think if we can go out there and continue that momentum of races we had kind of through the mid stretch of the season, where we were really driving up in the top 5, top 10, on a weekly basis. If we can do that at a couple tracks that I think could be great strengths for us, we'll just have to really rack up some points, but I feel really optimistic that we can do it. This weekend is going to be a big teller, because the next two races will have to be very strong for us. Can't just be, one good one and one mediocre or bad one. They'll both have to be really good.
All right, Matt. Well, we appreciate your time today. We wish you the best of luck this weekend in Richmond.
All right. Thanks, everybody.